the map zone. Here we go. For those of you, in case you didn't catch that, for those of you who were here today that got to see the video, the breaking news that I did on, me and Jake Speed did about the phone call that he got, or he had with the SBA agent that said they are going to be opening up the $10,000 EIDL grants to all locations. Well, I have a little bit of news, more news that can go in and actually back that news up. And I need to share this with you. I won't be able to chat with anybody right now. So please don't think I'm ignoring you, but I need to get this information to you that is very, very interesting and pretty good news. Now, I got this information from a source that won't let me use their name, but it's you can see they did their homework. Now, here's what we need to realize. Whenever we go onto the mapping tool, everybody knows we go into the mapping tool and this little box pops up, this little annoying box pops up that we have to click go to map. Okay. Well, here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about what's inside that little box. Okay. Okay. Upon opening the SBA policy map, and I want to thank the anonymous person who has done all the homework for this case that could be made in the court of law if it needs to go there. But it's also a case that could be made if Isabel Guzman is watching, or Cornyn. Maybe let's go with Isabel. You have the power to set the money out yourself. Congress and the Senate gave you the power when they put this bill into effect for you, Guzman, to get the bill out, which you may already know, which maybe that's why you're going to be opening it up for everybody in the next couple weeks, hopefully. But here, let me read this to everybody here. I'm going to make this video short and sweet. I got the Lightning playing in the Stanley Cup tonight. I want to be able to go watch that, but I need to get this out to you because you all are very interested in this information. I know, and I want to get it to you. Upon opening the SBA policy map, it defines that the SBA relies on HR 133, Consolidated Appropriation Act of the IRS Code 45D, Low Income Community definition in regards to the rewarding the EIDL grant. Now, if you all know, when this first came out, we were all like, okay, great. If we don't have a policy map, if we don't have that purple and yellow map, we got this by definition of the 45D E code in the IRS code, in the IRC. So with that, we were ready to rock and roll. We had our money. But then they came out with the policy map and it was like, dude, if I'm not in the purple income, I don't get my money. So if we move the policy map out of the way, which this right here gives Isabel Guzman the right to move this out of the way. So Isabel, if you're watching, please note that you have the power. So I'm going to read in the blue right there. It says, right down there is prescribed in specifications prescribed in HR 13324 USC section 45DE. We got that. Okay, everybody's on page here, right? Okay, so it appears that some of the members of the SBA interpretations are inconsistent with the HR I-33 and 45DE. While Mr. Austin in your article reflected the consistent interpretation, that we are giving the correct interpretation of it right here. This is us. So HR 133 Consolidated Appropriation Act is act defining the targeted EIDL advance to carry out section 331 also addresses the original CARES Act. Let me pull it up a little more. Okay, so if we know that the HR 133 addresses the targeted EIDL advance to carry out section 331 addresses the original CARES Act. Let's read more. Section 331 targeted EIDL advance for small businesses continuity. And this is the section 331 that you always hear saying section 331, section 331. Yep. Well, here it is. In part 2, it says covered entity in terms of covered entity. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down a little further and we're going to go into covered entity. The targeted EIDL defines covered entity to target low-income communities according to IRS 45DE. Low-income community, the term low-income community meaning given the terms in section 45DE of the IRC code or Internal Revenue Code of 1986. Subsection D defines the order of proceeding in 2 priority groups. Accordingly, the first priority group should be the covered entities. The first 2, the priority group should be the covered entities of the targeted EIDL. Let me go ahead and highlight this for you. Okay, there. The targeted idle using the IRS 45D community definition. The second priority group, here, listen to me, listen closely. The first priority group, gone. Now they're trying to send out letters for another priority group. But here's the thing, they're trying to send out letters to another group, maintaining that it's still the first priority group, okay? But really the first priority group should have been taken care of with the 1.5 million that they put out of the 30 billion, or the 1.5 billion they put out of the 30 billion. So here we are. We got different priorities here, okay? We get that. Low-income communities, then the next thing goes up. Okay, here we go. The second priority group should be covered entities under the original CARES Act who could not get the $10,000 because of lack of funding. Everybody remembers, they cut the funding back. Why did they cut it back? Because they don't have enough to give everybody the $10,000. Okay, well, that's not the intent of the CARES Act. The intent was to get everybody the $10,000 that applied. So here, let's go a little deeper, guys. This is where we get our money here. This is where we give Isabel Guzman the right to go ahead and pass it out. And B, entitlement of full amount in general, subject to paragraph 2, a covered entity after submitting request to the administrator that the administrator verifies under section C shall receive a total of $10,000 under section 111E of the CARES Act. Let me read that again. Entitlement to full amount in general, subject to paragraph 2, a covered entity after submitting a request to the administrator that the administrator verifies under subsection C shall receive a total of $10,000 under the CARES Act, USC 9009. Okay. The order of processing, the administrator shall process approved requests for payments. You guys can read that, right? Okay. Order of processing, the administrator shall process and approve payments requests for payments under Section B in order that the administrator receives the requests, except that the administrator shall, 1, here we go, read it. 1, the administrator shall first priority to covered entities described in B and 2A, to covered entities. So you're first giving the priority groups to the low-income community, right? Okay, we're okay with that. The second priority, covered entities that have not received emergency under Section 111E of the CARES Act. We're going back to the CARES Act here, and as of the date on which the administrator receives such request because of the unavailability of funds to carry out Section 110E. Mr. Austin, in your article, would align with the statement in opening the low-income requirements outside geographic regions for the second priority group. It could be argued that the meaning of covered entities refers to low-income targeted requirement. Yes, but the second priority group covered entity term relates to the meaning under the CARES Act. The second priority group would be if you filled out an application last year, you are second priority under the CARES Act that you don't have to fit into the geographical region. That one is done. They've dispersed that as little as they have. They've dispersed the 28.5 million or 1.5 billion. Now they have 28.5 billion still left for hopefully the second priority. But instead of doing the second priority, they're starting to put mailing lists out to people who didn't even apply to still keep the first priority in there. So this is where it gets a little tricky, guys, where I think Guzman doesn't realize that she has been given the power. I'm going to scroll down this whole bit of homework right here so that you can pause it and read it, because I got to go. I got to go watch this game here. But so you can pause it and read it. It's a lot of homework, but it is a case which is pretty much stating that if you applied last year under the first round into the CARES Act during that time for the $10,000 and you only received a little bit, you should be a second priority now. After this map they've dispersed what they can. They're actually trying to get people now. So that first priority is pretty much done. They're reaching out to a second priority that's not inside the New American Heroes Act, which even they're basically making re-rules of what the rules that we had put in play even over the CARES Act. The new rule, which is the American Heroes Act, they're even trying to change that as it goes so that they don't have to give people the money in the CARES Act. But I think Guzman doesn't realize the power that she's got, the power that's been given to her in Congress. And if she doesn't do this, then we'll take it to an attorney and the attorney can go off of this. This was the congressional intent. It may be because it was a Trump administration that put it into effect, and they don't want nothing to do with the Trump administration getting any credit for anything. Who knows? I don't know. But if you gave the money out and dispersed all this money, it would go under his rule, under his signature of the American Heroes Act that did it. And they don't want that. The Democrats don't want that. And they're trying to get all policy on us and trying to make this into get more votes into a partisan issue when it's not. It's a small business issue. I wish the government could kind of keep their Democrat and Republican sides out of it and give us the money that was promised to us in the CARES Act, which is even pretty much promised to us in the American Heroes Act under this. And Jason McElhone knew this too. He knew it all along. Good job, Jason. I remember when me and you when we first read this thing, we were like, yeah, dude, it's okay. We've got this. And everybody's like, well, what about subsection? Yeah, we got it under that section, under the IRS code of 45D. We got it. But then they put out the map, which knocked it away. So we got this. I'm getting excited. And remember today, if anybody was there with with Jake Speed as we were going live today, he said, look, the IRS agent told me today they're going to be opening it up to everybody. And she was very excited about telling me this. So I think that when Mr. Austin said what he said, I think that the beans were spilled. And I know that we're supposed to give credit where credit is due on this. And I just want everybody out there to know that it looks like we're going to be getting our money. It looks like everything's lining up for us to do this. Everything's lining up right now for us to be able to go out and get our money. And I want to say it's happening to everybody out there. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. And it looks like, yeah, things are lining up for us. So with that said, I would like to once again shout out to Jason McElhone and for all you're doing. I just really appreciate that. And is there anything he also said one thing. He said, Jason also said that Alejandro said that he's got to implement the program under the current rules. Well, what I'm showing you right here is under the current rules. This is the program. These are the rules that it's going by right now. And I just want to say to everybody out there, it looks like we may be getting our 10K sooner than later. And hopefully we don't have to go through any more red tape in order to do that. So let me come up here. And if I can, I will scroll down a little bit more so you can keep copying this if you want to screenshot these things. This is the case. Target population, low income, can be termed 1040 specifically. I'm sorry I can't see anybody's chats right now, or I would be able to say hello and thank you very much. But I do want to thank everybody out there for watching. We do appreciate all you are doing out there as far as this community goes. I really appreciate that. So I'm going to keep scrolling here. And you can actually, so you can pause this later and get screenshots and say this is the case. And if there's any attorneys out there that are watching this, please take note of what's actually happening here, because the policy, it looks like the purple zones in that policy map that we started lobbying against, not lobbying, I would just say exposing to being unusable, unreasonable, has gotten a lot of attention. And I would just like to say thank you for all of you out there who have shown, sent in information about these policy maps and what has been going on with them. So here we are. I just scrolled through everything. And if you guys want to go over that slow-mo, Jason McElhone, you can go over slow-mo. I appreciate all you're doing once again, bro. Keep it up. And that's kind of it. I don't know if I can find out if you guys are watching or not, if I can even see. I can't even see the chats, but that's okay. Guys, once again, I ask that you like, subscribe, go Bucks, go Lightning. We're playing here in about another 5 minutes. I think we're going on. And share this with your friends. Share this on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. And we're looking like we're picking up momentum here for the targeted EIDL advance. We cannot let our foot off the gas right now. We got to keep this thing going. We got to keep exposing the truth. And once we bring out this information and once we get the law on our side even more, then there's nothing they can do or say. They've got to abide by the rules here. And they've got to do the right thing, which is what we're all hoping for right now. So once again, guys, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. And somebody say, hey, I want my 10K.
Give it to me.
presented on the phone and live. We even tweak the press when we feel like we're stuck on a bill.
S513.